Welcome, everyone. It's Stefan Rudolph again, coming to you straight from New Foundations Growth Group. And I'm very excited today to have an amazing guest on the 2020 Vision Quest today, Patti, coming straight from Boston area and helping many out there with their health and wellness. As you know, in the 2020 Vision Quest and New Foundations, we help people physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and of course, financially achieve success in life. And love to interview people like Amanda. Want to welcome Amanda. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
Doing great. Love to interview people like yourself because of what you do and we're going to get in detail about this for others. And going through the founder of RAWthenticity and the movement there. I love this because the guests are going to be very fired up for what you're doing for them and promoting growth and health and wellness. So start it off. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing there.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm the founder of the RAWthenticity movement, as you mentioned. And the RAWthenticity movement is it's a movement. It's an invitation for people to really connect to themselves authentically and from a place of vulnerability. And to learn how to begin to take steps to courageously share their truth, their passions, their love, themselves with the world from a really raw and vulnerable space that will invite them to develop more intimate relationships with themselves and with other people, all from a place of pure love and compassion. And that course is due out March of 2017. So I'm just like, super excited.
Yeah, it's already moving. January's almost gone here.
It is.
It starts going fast. And I'm going through this information here. You have over 50 videos. The RAWthenticity movement includes an invitation into the Facebook support group, monthly webinars, and access to several hours of exclusive interviews too. Yeah, and you've been helping people for a while too. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you've been doing.
Yeah, so I've been helping a lot of people really connect with themselves. A lot of my clients have been coming to me because they're in some sort of pain, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain. Sometimes it's actually relationship pain too. And how can I understand my sensitive female partner? I'm in a relationship and we are just not connecting with each other. We're not understanding each other. What am I missing and what can I do to connect more fully to my wife or my girlfriend? Mm-hmm. And that work tends to focus more with men, which I find super, super interesting. Being a woman and having, awakening men coming out and saying, geez, how can you help me through this process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us out there too. There's a lot of men that need your help. I can tell you that.
Yeah. And I absolutely love working with men. It's such an honor and a privilege to just be able and willing to hold space for all of you and give you guys permission to share and express yourselves without, I guess the nagging that can sometimes happen from women and from women's circles, and not speak over you guys, but give you guys a platform to really.
That's interesting that you say that, because first thing I think of is when I was in the corporate world and having to be at work all day and then coming home to my wife when I was married and having to the split difference of that. You're stressed all day, you come home, you bring your stress home. There has to be better communication in a relationship, right? About what's going on and how things are going. Maybe you can talk about that, about how you help with communication and building relationships with people.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of times when men come home from work, it's like they need that time to themselves, almost like go into their man cave. Mm-hmm. And decompress and switch from the, I bend my work brain and I have that stuff. I need to just take, whether it's 10 minutes or a half hour, set that aside so I can drop into the next thing of being present and being the family man and showing up how most of you want to show up, which is fully and be in full support of your partners and families and things like that. So that's something that I think a lot of women can understand, is that, yes, men don't necessarily want to feel bombarded as soon as they walk through the door.
Yeah.
So it's just like you need that decompression. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it's an opportunity for, I think, women to speak up and ask for what they're really looking for in terms of support, particularly parents with young children. It's like if they're moms and they've been home all day, they feel really frustrated, they want their partners to help. Maybe their husbands or boyfriends are helping out, say by doing the dishes or something like that. But the woman is thinking, geez, I keep saying I need help with this, and you're over there doing dishes.
Yeah.
So this interesting, like, nagging relationships winds up happening where people aren't meeting each other versus sitting and saying, oh, wait a minute, she's asking me to give the kids a bath.
Yeah.
Am I willing to let the dishes go for a half hour? Although I feel like I'm helping and I'm feeling really helpful, what is it that is like the highest priority in that moment?
That reminds me of the 5 love languages. That
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm already connecting with that.
Which fire needs to be put out in the moment. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Communication that way. So that's what you help when, do you have more men come to you or women, or is it half and half, or?
It's interesting with relationship, it tends to be more men.
Mm-hmm.
More men that reach out to me than women, or men that have had their women say, hey, this woman on Facebook is doing all these Facebook Live events for awakening men, and I think you'd really benefit from talking to her.
Yeah, it gets them enthralled, and they find out what their pain point, or mainly you find out what their pain point is too, about what's not working and what they need to do to communication again. It grows into that. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about a client success story and what you did for him or her and how it worked to help them grow.
Yeah, I would say the biggest success stories with that is through communication and through compassionate communication.
Yeah.
And with somebody coming in and saying, geez, I come home all day, after work all day, and the first thing you're doing is nagging. And I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard, I feel really disrespected in that moment. And what would support me is, if you gave me 5 minutes just to sit down and switch gears, and then I would like to fully show up for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen moments of that, of just like what appears to be simple communication, but yet it's a really big and courageous step for a man to be coming out and saying, this is how I'm feeling in our relationship. And are you willing to meet me? Are you willing to support me in this moment? And how can I support you? How am I not fully showing up for you? So it's been those just simple communication things that have shifted relationships.
Yeah, being open, and usually the ego is involved where a man, and I remember this because this would be me, is, I'm not going to let her know that I want to communicate or something's wrong, really. In my marriage, when I was married, almost, a 15-year relationship, and it was toward the end, I just did not want to admit what I felt was weakness. And you probably helped bring that out with helping men, especially. It's not a weakness, it's communication, right?
Exactly. It's not a weakness at all. It's actually, in my opinion, it's a strength.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. That's the doorway to connecting with each other. Yeah.
The egos will fight. The egos will keep fighting all the way up to the top to see who wins. And then it ends in divorce court probably. Right. And you don't want that. There needs to be, wouldn't say submitting, but for me, if I look back on my marriage, I should have been, how can I serve you, or where can I improve, and what can we do to communicate better? Right.
Right. And in my opinion, it's not so much submitting as it is a willingness to surrender. Correct. And a willingness to be vulnerable and authentic.
Yeah. Where were you 10 years ago for me? Right.
Well, 10 years ago, I was going through my own divorce. So
so that's why we're here. See, life coaching, helping others. And we have to live through that experience to grow. Right.
We do. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That's why I love interviewing people like yourself, Amanda, and helping others really open up their mind to success. I would call it in physically, mentally, emotionally, in those areas. And that's another thing is nutrition, how we feed ourselves, how we live our life every day. That's a big part of it too. And do you help in those areas, or what is the area of health and nutrition too?
Yeah, so I do a little bit of health and nutrition with some of my clients who specifically ask for it. However, it's not the big area of my focus and my passion. So a lot of times if I have a client who's primarily looking for health and nutrition, I will refer them out to a colleague whose passion is health and nutrition and tonic herbalism and all these other things, because that just lights them up. And I feel like they may be better at serving that client than I can, because it's not what fills me and what fuels me.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I would be, authentically meeting all of their needs by serving them in an area that doesn't necessarily fulfill me.
Mm-hmm. Good. Well, tell us about your plans too, Amanda, this year, what you have coming up, any events or anything going on for 2017 here.
Yes, I don't have any events currently. However, it's interesting. This afternoon, I am doing almost like a FaceTime type of conversation with a friend and colleague who owns a primitive retreat center down in Nicaragua. And we are going to be sitting and talking and kind of teasing apart what it might look like for to bring a small group of people, no more than 6, down to Nicaragua for a 5-day immersion with me. And my primary intention is taking people who are interested in small group coaching in conjunction with the RAWthenticity movement. We're really excited about alchemizing their lives into the most amazing and incredible life beyond what they can even imagine. And bringing them down to this community where it's absolutely gorgeous. It's right on the beach. There are monkeys all over the place, and give them the opportunity to really connect with the local population and really allow themselves to both give their gifts as well as receive what is, in my opinion, unconditional love from people who have much less than we do.
Correct. I just talked to a friend recently, and it's ironic. He's been down in Nicaragua, and I used to travel with him to Costa Rica, Panama, other places. He was just reminding me, you have to get out once in a while. You have to explore, right? You have to travel to expand your mind, because we get caught up in this little world of ours and business, work, life, marriage, relationships, and it gets so routine. We need to think outside the box, wouldn't you say?
Oh, we do. We do. Yeah, it's totally when we leave our comfort zone that change happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a beautiful area too. So you'll have 5 spots open. I'll be one of them because I'm 6, right? I'd love to go to that.
Exactly.
But yeah, you'll have 6 spots open total. So I'll get this video up here today if you're going to be doing your live chat, and try to get some people out there to jump on your chat here later today. So tell our listeners too about your contact information and how they can get a hold of you and that.
Yes. They can reach me a few different ways. They're welcome to follow me on Facebook. That's one of the easiest ways to get in touch with me. Also, they can reach me on email, and that's amanda@amandaleepatti.com. And if they head over to my website, I just recently uploaded a free 3-video course that they can download, all about developing a gratitude practice. It's one simple and powerful practice that can shift your entire perspective. So anybody who decides to hop on over, check out the website, will have access to that as well.
Oh, I like that. So maybe tell a little bit more, because I'm interested in that too. The gratitude package, what does that entail exactly?
Yeah, so in that course, I go over a morning and an evening gratitude practice. And how in my way, I guess if we look at the evening gratitude practice, it's how can we look at what we experience during the day as a way of giving thanks, as a way of counting sheep, basically by counting our blessings and literally laying in bed and expressing our thanks for all of the opportunities for growth that we experience during the day, for all of the really positive and uplifting exchanges that we had, for any gifts that we had received, for any gifts that we had given to other people that were received, and just go to bed that way with a really straight mindset and allowing us to give back to the universe from our heart and really put that out there and be thankful for what we have, because gosh, just being here in the US.
Oh, everything. And we take it for granted every time. And we start complaining, whether it's politics right now or anything going on, and we find the negative real easy. And the reason why I ask you that is my chapter that I got co-authored with Les Brown. It's called Thank Your Way to Gratitude. And I wrote about that and being the difference between not only being thankful, but having gratitude in life, even in the worst case scenario. I was in a car accident and I was happy to be alive. I wasn't upset that I got in the car accident. I wasn't upset about things. I shifted in that moment to be like, wow, I need to thank my way to gratitude. That's the name of the chapter. So that difference, that's why it's perfect for our listeners out there who know me, who know my book, and to connect with you on this area of improving their emotions to give more gratitude out there, right?
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned a car accident as well, because I was in a car accident. Gosh, it's probably like 8 years or so ago now, and that was one of my big shifts into where I was. I was going to school full time in biology and taking part in this big biochemistry lab that was like 4 hardcore hours of just brain stuff, and I'd leave and I wouldn't be able to think. And one
I remember
morning,
those days, yeah.
yeah. On the way, I was in a 4-car accident, and that like just completely shifted everything. And it's like you have those moments and you go through and you kind of do the check, and it's like, I'm alive. Like,
Yeah, your subconscious awakens more because our ego and our conscious were saying, I got to get to work, I got to get to school, I also, and you wake up and go, I don't got to do anything. I got to be grateful, right? How's that?
Exactly. It's those like those moments where, yeah, the universe will just, give us those those sudden pushes.
Wake ups, hey, this life can go quick. And that's another thing you probably help with too. People passing in life, things happen in life and we're not used to it. We have this program to say, I have to make money, I have to get here, I have to get there. And the steps don't always go that way. It's not just a straight line. It's this, it's up and down, it's everything else going on, right?
Yeah. It's all over the place. And it's interesting. You're sharing that makes me think back to a client that I had worked with a few years ago, and she was a terminal cancer patient. And she had been through just like a ton of stuff in her life. She had gone in for a medical procedure, and on her way home, she wound up having a stroke.
Oh.
From that, and she wound up going back in. She wound up losing, I think it was 3 fingers after that, and most of the function in her other hand, on top of having at one point beaten this type of cancer and having it come back. And the doctors coming out and saying, this is so rare, we have no idea how to treat it. And yet she would come in and she would see me every couple of weeks. And I mean, physically there was very little I could do with her, but it was just the fact of being in her presence, that just shifted her. And for her just to be able to be seen and embraced as she was, and not seen as what other people would view her as, like a freak, so to say, because she has these physical limitations and these disabilities. But seeing a woman who, despite her, diagnosis and prognosis for life, was choosing to show up each and every single day as fully as she could and just love herself as much as she possibly could, and give herself the gift of receiving love and saying, hey, I don't necessarily need the support, but it's wonderful having the support from somebody who sees beyond my limitations and sees me to who I truly am.
And that's where you come into play in helping others, just expand their mind. And that's another program that we have consciously. Our ego gets in the way and says, I can't do that. That's not me. Because this program that we have made ourselves to be is not who we can actually become, because we can keep on growing, right?
Oh, we can for sure. And to me, sometimes it's almost letting go. Like, how much are we willing to let go of to get back to our true essence, to essentially be that wide-eyed 2- and 3-year-old who's so curious about everything in life that they just go about and exploring it. Every single thing that they see, every interaction they have is new, it's exciting, it's enriching, it's enlivening. And just be able to express ourselves without any thought or worry about what other people are going to think or feel. It's like we don't have a filter at that age. We just share what it is that we're feeling in that moment. Yeah,
it's so true. But then we get absorbed by society by the time we're 8, 9, 10 years old, and then especially in teenage years, everything affects us from what other people think of us. And I always love Wayne Dyer for saying that what other people think about me is none of my business, right?
Exactly. It's all a reflection of their perception of themselves, in my opinion. Yeah. So it's interesting to see. And so I have a great example of that. My 15-year-old son is, for whatever reason, he's maintained his authenticity in just a beautiful way growing up, to where he will just tell you exactly what he's thinking, exactly what he's feeling, without any filters whatsoever. And now it's more of the invitation. Okay, how can we shift some of this language? Because calling somebody an idiot because you disagree with them isn't necessarily the most uplifting thing. Is how can we shift that language and still allow you to express what it is that you're feeling?
Yeah, I've even read other authors saying that too, about somebody calls you an idiot and you just say, well, that's very interesting. Thank you. And why do you feel that way? And instead of getting so defensive where we battle and go, well, you know what you are, you know what you are. You've heard this probably too. One finger pointed out, three fingers pointed in. And people have insecurities. And that's great at that young age. He's not vulnerable to that. He's just confident and like, okay, you don't like me. Not everybody has to like me, or
yeah, he just doesn't care. So,
yeah, just kind of like move on. I saw a picture of him actually on your Facebook, and I was like going through your information and just reviewing your business, and I saw him, and he's got that look to him. He's kind of like, yeah, just confident who he is, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, it's a gift. It's a gift having him as a son. He's definitely one of my biggest teachers.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
It does. It does.
Well, thanks, Amanda, again, and give us your contact information one more time to our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, so you can reach me via email at amanda@amandaleepatti.com. You can also visit my website, amandaleepatti.com. Or if people are interested in sharing a really raw, authentic conversation, they're more than welcome to reach out to me on my phone number, and that's 978-766-8722.
And I'll get this posted today because you got the Facebook Live event coming up. And to all our listeners who always check in here at New Foundations Growth Group, they remember that my mom gave me this sign when I was going through my epilepsy and brain surgery and all my obstacles in life. And it says, journey, the bend in the road is not the end in the road unless you refuse to take the turn. So you have to be like Rocky here and stand up and keep on fighting and get up those stairs of life and keep on growing. So thanks again, Amanda. And we'll look forward to hearing from you again more and getting you on Facebook Live today and getting our viewers out there to keep on growing.
Great. Thanks very much, Stefan.
Take care.